Hey guys, it's Alexandra from iloveknots.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make my Sunflower 2.0. I did have a video up for this flower, but it was brought to my attention that the video skipped a little bit of the beginning, so I'm not sure what happened there, but I just went ahead and refilmed the whole video here. And this time I worked the center of the flower in pink so it's easier to see the stitches. The brown is a little bit tough to see on camera. I think the pink and the yellow are really cute together. For my flower I'm using Red Heart Super Saver and an H8 5mm crochet hook. You can use whatever yarn weight you like, whatever your favorite yarn is with the respective crochet hook. And it will change up the size to better suit whatever project you're working on. There are so many ways you can use this little flower. You can string a bunch of them up together to make a garland. You can sew it onto things as an applique. You can make them in a thread and use them as earrings, or glue them onto the front of a card. My favorite way to use them is to glue them onto wreaths, to make wreaths for my front door or to give as a gift. If you make them in cotton yarn, you can use them as a facial scrubby. This center part is really nice for exfoliating when it's in a cotton yarn. In the Red Heart Super Saver yarn, it measures about 4 1/4 inches wide from the top of one petal to the top of the other. It's a little under 4 inches the other way. You're going to find the free crochet pattern for this at iloveknots.com. I'm going to link that in the description below. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a slip knot. So I've pulled the yarn over my fingers. Then I'll hold the tension here with my middle finger and my index finger, wrap the yarn around my index finger 2 times, and then hold the tension with my middle finger and my thumb. Pull the loop that's on the left up over the other loop but not off my finger. Then I'll pull the loop that's on the left now up over the other one and off my finger. Insert my crochet hook into the loop that's on my finger and pull that off. Then I'll hold the working yarn with my right hand, and with my left hand I'm going to just pull on that short tail end to tighten that knot up to normal tension. We're going to start with a chain 5. To chain, we yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. That gives us 3 chains. We want 5. Now without twisting our chain, we don't want to twist it so that we see the back side. Insert your crochet hook into the very first chain, right into the center of it. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook. That is a slip stitch join to form a ring, and it creates this ring right in the center that we're going to work into. From that very first chain you'll also see a hole. That's because this tail end is not secured. We don't want to work into that hole. We want to work into the giant ring in the center. So if that opens up too much, you can just tighten it back up by pulling on that short tail end, but it's going to keep opening until it's secured. Chain 1 and turn. Normally we would take that tail end and hold it on the back of our work and then crochet over it. For this flower, the first row that we're about to work here is going to create the texture of the center of the flower. And that's going to show on the bottom side because of the way we're working our stitches. That bottom side is going to end up being our right side. So we're going to take that tail end and we're going to just bring it over here to the left and lay it on top of those chains, and we're going to crochet over it from this side that's facing us, which is the more untraditional way. For round 1, we're going to work a single crochet into the center ring, followed by a treble crochet into the center ring. And we're going to repeat that 6 times, which will give us a total of 12 stitches. To work a single crochet, I'm going to insert my hook into the center ring. And when I do this, for each stitch of this round, I'm going to have the chains on my hook, and then I'm going to have the tail end right on top of that. I want to make sure I crochet over both of those things. Yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on our hook right now. Yarn over, pull through both loops. To work a treble crochet, we're going to yarn over 2 times. Insert our hook into the center ring. Yarn over, pull through. We have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. To work a single crochet, insert your hook into the center ring, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. And to work a treble crochet, we're going to yarn over 2 times, insert our hook into the center ring, yarn over, pull through. There are 4 loops on our hook right now. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Right now we have 4 stitches here. We want a total of 12, and we're going to continue alternating single crochet followed by treble crochet. I'm going to just pull this out real quick. When you work the single crochet after the treble crochet, it brings it down to the same level as the single crochets, and it puffs it out here, and that's what creates our texture. As you work, you can count your stitches by looking at the V shapes on the edge. There's 1 stitch, 2, 3, and 4. As you work, you'll also find that you'll almost run out of space here. You can just hold the chains with your left hand and pull the stitches on the right down, and they'll slide down on that ring. And that'll give you the room that you need, but it will end up being tight in the end. I'm going to go ahead and continue working single crochet followed by treble crochet, all the way around until I have 12 stitches. So there's 12 stitches, and again we know that because we can count these V shapes on the edge. Those are the top of our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're going to slip stitch join to the very first stitch of the round. So I'm going to insert my hook into that first stitch right under both loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on my hook, and that completes our round. This ring in the center, we're going to close that up in the end, so I'm just going to leave it just like that for now. Round 2, we're going to start with a chain 1, and we're not going to turn, we're going to work from the same direction so that we can create the second row of the texture. In this round, we're going to increase, which means we're going to work more stitches. We increase so that our circle gets larger, but it also continues to lay flat. In this round, we're going to work 2 stitches into each stitch that we have, and we'll end up with 24 stitches. So in each stitch we're going to work a single crochet followed by a treble crochet. Into this very first stitch I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both loops to complete a single crochet, and then I'll work a treble crochet by yarning over 2 times, insert my hook into the same exact stitch, yarn over, pull through 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Same exact stitches we've been working. We're going to work a single crochet and a treble crochet into each stitch all the way around. So right here, single crochet into that next stitch, treble crochet into that same exact stitch. Continue all the way around until you get back to the beginning and you'll have 24 stitches. There's my last stitch. I now have 24 stitches in this round. Remember, you can count that by looking at the V-shapes here on the edge. Going to insert my hook into the very first stitch of the round and then complete a slip stitch by yarning over, pulling through that stitch and the loop that's on my hook. And that now completes our second round as well as the textured center of the flower. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off, and then I'll pull on this loop to break that, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch I joined to from this wrong side to the right side, and just grab that strand and pull it through so that it's here on the wrong side, on this back side, and I'll weave that in later. We're going to join our next color, which is going to be yellow, into any of the treble crochet stitches. And the treble crochet stitches are the ones that have the bump. You just follow that bump all the way up, and there's the stitch right behind it. It kind of curls around. You're going to join your yellow into any one of those treble crochets all the way around. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to go here to the next one that follows my slip stitch. Then I'll grab my yellow. I want to make sure I have enough yarn here that I can comfortably weave in later. Then I'll place it on my hook, a little loop there, and pull that through. And I'll continue to pull it through so that the tail end comes out the other side. And then just make a simple knot, just one time, tie it. Then I'll insert my hook back into that same exact stitch, pull the working yarn over my hook and through, and then I'll yarn over and pull through again, and now I have a chain 1. We're going to start by working a single crochet into this very first stitch that we just joined to. So insert my hook into the stitch, picking up both loops, yarn over, pull through, and complete a single crochet. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, which is a single crochet, and into the next stitch, which is a treble crochet, we're going to work a half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet. To half double crochet, we yarn over, then insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Chain 2, another half double crochet here, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. This is going to create the base for our petals. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, which is a single crochet. And in the very next stitch, which is a treble crochet, we're going to single crochet. This single crochet starts our repeat. Our repeat for this is going to be single crochet into the next stitch, which we just did. Skip the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, chain 2, half double crochet into that same exact stitch, and then skip the next stitch. And then we repeat again. So I'm going to skip the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, chain 2, half double crochet into the same exact stitch, skip the next stitch, and then the repeat begins again, single crochet into the next stitch, skip the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, chain 2, half double crochet into the same exact stitch, skip the next stitch. Continue repeating all the way around until you're back to the beginning. Here we're back to the beginning. I'm going to insert my hook into the very first stitch and complete a slip stitch. And here we should have 6 of these V shapes for our petals that we're going to create in the next round. Round 4, we're going to start with a chain 1. Into this next chain space, we're going to work 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and then 3 double crochets into the same exact space. To double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, in this case right into the center of that space, picking up the chain on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch. Yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Work 1 more double crochet in that stitch, chain 2, and then work 3 more double crochets into that same exact chain space. And that creates our very first petal. In the next stitch, which is a single crochet, we're going to slip stitch there. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the stitch that's on your hook, and that's going to secure the petal, give us the height that we need. This slip stitch here begins our repeat for the round. Our repeat is slip stitch into the next single crochet, and then work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, all the way around. So into this next chain space, I'm going to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into that same exact space, begin the repeat, slip stitch into the next stitch, which is a single crochet. In the next chain space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Continue working that repeat all the way around until you're back to the beginning. Alrighty, I've just worked my very last petal. To slip stitch in this round, we're not going to do it to any of the stitches in this round where we started, which would be right here. We're going to go down around to the very first stitch of the previous round, which is right underneath our first stitch. Insert your hook right into the center there, and then yarn over, pull through, and complete a slip stitch. And then we'll fasten off. Pull up on that loop to break it. Insert your hook into that same exact stitch from the wrong side to the right side. Grab that loop with your hook and pull it through so it's on the wrong side. And now we're ready to weave in our ends. I have my tapestry needle here. I'm going to flip to the wrong side. For that center ring that still has a little hole that's open, hold the fabric with your right hand right over the ring and take that tail end and pull on it. It will tighten that ring up so that it closes. Don't pull too tight or you'll rip the yarn depending on what fiber you're using. Just tight enough so that it closes it up. Then thread your strand through your tapestry needle. Here we're going to weave under the stitches all the way around until we're back to the beginning, and then we're going to pass through a couple more stitches so we're a little bit past that beginning point. Just insert your needle right underneath, under several stitches, and you want to make sure you're running in between the fabric and not through the fabric. So if you see your needle from the other side, pull it out and reinsert. And I just work a little at a time until I get all the way back around. This would get me back to the beginning. I'm going to push through so that I get a couple more stitches on my needle. And then I'll pull on it once more holding the fabric, and that'll completely tighten that ring up. I'm going to work 2 more passes. I always work 3 passes. When I work the remaining passes, and including how I do the other ends, when I insert my needle, instead of picking up the entire stitch on my needle, I don't want to pick up the whole stitch, I want to insert it into the center of that stitch, breaking it in half. Then I'll run my needle through several stitches, and when I come out, I will also break that stitch in half. And I do that every single time I insert my needle and I exit the stitches. And this is just going to capture my yarn better. Go into a nearby stitch, break it in half, run under several stitches I just worked, break the stitch that I'm exiting in half, and pull it through. That's 3 passes, just tugging on it, and now I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to go ahead and fasten it off. For all the remaining ends, I'm going to weave them in a similar manner, just working into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half. I work 3 passes. So here I'm going to go in this direction and work through the bulkiness of that petal. On the other yellow, I will come up through several stitches here so I can get into the bulkiness of that petal on the right. For the pink, I'm going to just work through several of the stitches here. I don't really like to work around too much, so for this one I'll just work vertically here, back and forth. If you wanted to work horizontally you could, just don't work too far down, otherwise it can distort the shaping there. And there we have our finished flower, ready to string up on a garland or sew onto something. You can glue it onto a wreath, or depending on what yarn you've used, you can make earrings. There are so many ways to use these little flowers. I just love them. My favorite way is to use them for wreaths. I just glue them right onto a wreath base. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.